So the latest from the kids over on TikTok these days is that they are obsessed with eating sardines, those little oily fish that come in a tin. Anytime I hear somebody talk about sardines, the first thing that comes to my mind is that cartoon Heathcliff. Let me know if you enjoyed watching that as I did. They claim that not only do they love eating these, but since introducing them into their diets, they have noticed considerable improvements in the appearance of their skin, their overall skin health, with many claiming that they're having a lot fewer breakouts of their acne, that certain skin problems seem to be less or even resolving. Is there any truth to these claims, or is this just more TikTok BS? Honestly, there is likely some truth to the observations that they are making with regards to benefits that they are appreciating in their skin upon introducing sardines into their diet. Sardines are oily fish that are rich in omega-3 fatty acids. Omega-3 fatty acids have a variety of health benefits, not just internally, but for the health of your skin, and we'll get into all of that in today's video. The standard Western diet, which is rich in ultra-processed foods, tends to be very low in omega-3 fatty acids. We tend to have an omega-6 fatty acid rich diet that kind of alters the balance of things, so to speak, in our body and is more inflammatory. It's thought that a variety of health problems that consumers of a standard Western diet assume can perhaps be blamed on lack of these omega-3 fatty acids. Not likely the whole story, but there is definitely evidence that omega-3 fatty acids can impart a variety of health benefits, specifically from the consumption of these oily fatty fish, with many health organizations recommending that people incorporate fish into their diet to assume these potential health benefits, such as for cardiovascular health, for example. Many physicians actually prescribe or recommend their patients to take fish oil supplements. Now, I'm not a cardiologist, so I'm not going to speak to the research behind that, but what I can tell you is that omega-3 fatty acids, they're super important for skin health. Omega-3 fatty acids play a key role in modulating different inflammatory responses for the better. Omega-3 fatty acids are also very important in the integrity of lipid membranes, and they're really vital for the production of ceramides. So does all of that sound familiar? It should, because those are really important processes and components to building a healthy skin barrier. You have to remember, skin is not just there for you to put creams on, it serves a function, and the main function, one of the main functions, is to protect you from the outside world. It is a barrier. In certain inflammatory skin conditions, that barrier integrity is compromised, leading to disease exacerbations, and omega-3 fatty acids in the diet have a role in mitigating those flares and in supporting optimal skin health. There's been a lot of interest in the role for omega-3 fatty acids in the skin condition atopic dermatitis, commonly referred to as eczema, but it's really just one type of eczema. This is a condition with a complex origin. It relates to a problem with the epidermal barrier function as well as immune dysregulation, coupled with alterations in the cutaneous microbiome. Most patients with atopic dermatitis have genetic mutations in something called filaggrin, a key component of skin's outermost epidermal barrier. As a result, their skin is more prone to increasing transepidermal water loss and dehydration, leading to flares of dry, itchy, uncomfortable skin. There's a small amount of research looking at fish oil supplements in atopic dermatitis. Gamma-linoleic acid and omega-3 fatty acid, when supplemented, seems to impart an improvement in transepidermal water loss and barrier function. There's also interest in supplementing omega-3 fatty acids for psoriasis, another chronic inflammatory skin condition. Like atopic dermatitis, you have immune dysregulation occurring in psoriasis, and perhaps supplementation of omega-3 fatty acids might confer some benefit in this inflammatory condition. But more research is needed. Probably where omega-3 fatty acids, at least in terms of supplements, seem to be even more compelling is with regards to acne. Just taking a step back, there's always been this observation that certain populations that do not adhere to the standard Western diet seem to have virtually no acne. But when you assume the Western diet, all of a sudden the skin starts breaking out. People look to omega-3 fatty acids as an explanation for this observation. Given that fish are rich in omega-3 fatty acids, one small study looking at Korean patients noted that Korean patients who consumed diets rich in fish seemed to have less acne in comparison to people who ate a diet rich in ultra-processed foods. Studies in Italian patients also seem to suggest that consuming fatty fish confers some sort of protective effect against acne. This makes sense. With acne, we know that there is a skin barrier defect that can lead to more inflammation in the skin, so the anti-inflammatory properties coupled with the skin barrier protective effects may lead to less acne overall. But the acne omega-3 fatty acid story gets a little bit more interesting in that there are some studies looking at patients who take the acne medication isotretinoin, commonly referred to as Accutane. If you've ever taken this medication, you know that while it's the only acne treatment that offers the potential to cure acne, a common side effect is dry skin and very dry lips. Turns out if patients take fish oil supplements, they have significantly less dry lips. Another problem that can arise with taking isotretinoin for your acne is that it can cause the triglycerides, blood lipids, to increase. However, there's a small study looking at patients who have high triglycerides at baseline, started on isotretinoin along with fish oil, and their triglycerides remain stable. They don't get that concerning bump. So taking fish oil along with isotretinoin, aka Accutane, may mitigate some of the side effects with isotretinoin, namely dry lips and rises in triglycerides. But more research is needed to really say for sure to what extent this is going to be beneficial for all patients. So everything I've told you up until this point has been with fish oil supplements. We really don't have many studies looking at sardines per se, but one could make the argument that getting omega-3 fatty acids from an oily fish, a whole food source, is likely superior to a supplement for a few reasons. Now, we don't have research to prove that, but generally speaking, getting nutrients from a whole food source is better than a supplement, especially provided you don't have any issues with absorption. A lot of patients have a hard time taking fish oil supplements and they simply don't comply with them. If they enjoyed eating sardines and were willing to consume sardines regularly, then it makes sense that that would be a better option for them than a fish oil supplement. Eating a sardine versus taking a supplement also confers satiety, fullness. I think there is actually some research out there showing that fish oil supplements seem to have an appetite stimulating effect, which depending on who you are, that might not be ideal. But sardines are not just oily fish with omega-3 fatty acids. They actually have a variety of other beneficial compounds in them as well. For example, they're a good source of calcium. 100 grams of sardines has the same amount of calcium as 400 milliliters of dairy milk. It's also a good source of vitamin D, as well as magnesium, phosphorus, and potassium, and protein, amino acids, all of which are necessary for good skin health. And lastly, sardines are a really good source of iron. Of all the fish that people typically consume, sardines have the highest amount of iron. A lot of people struggle with iron deficiency, iron insufficiency. Sardines might be a reasonable option, especially for people who do not care to eat red meat but are open to eating fish. This might be a suitable alternative for them because sardines have about the same amount of iron as red meat. So given the fact that sardines are rich in omega-3 fatty acids, which confers skin benefits in terms of helping with the moisture barrier and modulating inflammatory responses, coupled with all of the other beneficial nutrients found in sardines, it does make sense that people are appreciating skin benefit when incorporating sardines into their diet. I imagine this is likely most striking in people who at baseline consume a standard Western diet that is omega-3 fatty acid deficient. But if you're someone who consumes a diet that is not heavy on the ultra-processed foods and you do get a lot of different omega-3 fatty acid sources already into your diet, to what extent you need to be incorporating sardines remains unaddressed. Again, there's very little research on the benefits of consuming sardines. It's mostly been done with fish oil supplements. Are there any downsides to eating sardines? Well, one of the main concerns when it comes to eating fish in general, but sardines, is mercury. So fish have the potential to have accumulation of mercury depending on where they're coming from, and this can be harmful to certain enzymes that are essential for health, named selenoenzymes. They're called selenoenzymes because they require selenium. It's particularly worrisome for pregnant women. Some of these negative effects on selenoenzymes may be offset by increasing intake of selenium, which, as a side note, sardines do have quite a bit of selenium. Sardines are not as risky of a fish group for accumulation of mercury, but it certainly is a possibility. I would say if you are considering incorporating these into your diet, obviously talk to your healthcare provider provider, especially if you are pregnant or plan to become pregnant, because of course mercury becomes even more of a concern. So discuss with your obstetrician if they think it's safe for you to consume sardines, and if so, what's a safe amount. So in summary, yeah, I do believe these people are seeing skin benefits when introducing sardines into their diet. And like I said, I think this is probably even more likely to be striking if you are someone who at baseline consumes a standard American Western diet rich in ultra-processed foods and deficient in omega-3 fatty acids. Now, what if you're like me and you have zero interest in ingesting fish products, animal products? What can you do to derive the benefits of omega-3 fatty acids for your skin? Well, there are a variety of plant sources of different omega-3 fatty acids. You have walnuts, chia seeds, flax seeds. These are rich in something called ALA. Your body can convert some ALA into DHA and EPA, but it doesn't do that 100%. One of the better plant-based sources of omega-3 fatty acids is to consume algae oil. Algae is the reason why these oily fish have so much omega-3 fatty acids, because that's what they're eating and that's where they're getting it from. And so that's a great plant-based source of omega-3 fatty acids, algae oil. You can ingest it, you can use it on salads. It's actually a pretty neutral tasting oil, and it has a high smoke point, so you can actually cook with it and take it as a supplement. A lot of the plant-based omega-3 fatty acid supplements have algae oil in them. Some of them combine algae oil with like flaxseed oil, chia seed oil. Borage seed oil is another oil rich in ALA. Algae oil has DHA and EPA that is comparable to what you would be getting from an oily fish. Some people just do not like the concept of fish, let alone sardines. And like I said, a lot of people have a hard time taking the fish oil supplements. So this might be another option for you. But again, keep in mind that we don't have a ton of research here. So, don't overextend yourself. And of course, none of this is ideal if you go all in on one thing. Like, for example, if you're just like subsisting off of sardines, then not great. You want to make sure you're eating a balanced diet. And, one of the reasons why certain health professional societies do recommend incorporating fish into your diet comes from the benefits observed when people incorporate a Mediterranean diet, which includes fruits, vegetables, legumes, whole grains, and fish with minimal meat consumption. That's sort of what the going recommendation for a healthy diet is modeled off of. But if you're like me and you have no interest in eating animals, then, there are other sources of those compounds. In my opinion, you'll likely see the most dramatic results if you're someone who doesn't get a lot of these omega-3 fatty acids at baseline. If you have acne, if you have atopic dermatitis, this isn't necessarily a standard of care treatment for these conditions, but it does make sense that people see improvement, and there is research to support the improvements that people are seeing. More research is obviously needed, but anyways, guys, let me know in the comments, do you eat sardines? Definitely a no-go for me, but I hope this video was informative to you guys. On the inside, I'm actually going to put a recent video that I did on the skin benefits of eating almonds, so check that one out next. But if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and as always, don't forget, sunscreen and subscribe. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye!